Hey Edison players, Robbie here. Bringing you guys a little bit of a different video today. Not a deck profile. It's kind of just like a little bit of a hangout slash like, I don't know, something different, something Edison based, something longer. Start off with you guys, I will show you a little bit of my method to my madness. So I have a deck box that I build or have put cards in for the decks I am currently building. And then I have 3 one-row boxes full of cards that are just spare, that are like the better cards. And then I have 2 binders upstairs full of cards. One's all monsters, one's all spells and traps. And then I have a 5K full of unsorted that are like extra copies of some of the monsters, spells, and traps as well. So I'm just going to go through some of this stuff for now. Just the 3 boxes here. Look for some cards for the decks I'm building. Probably not going to be too many of them, honestly. And then I will dive into the other bag. The other bag is the crazy part that you guys have been with me for or have joined me with on the ride. So let's see what we got here first. Spells and traps. For the most part, one thing that I really try to do is get a bunch of penny sleeves or just like standard size sleeves and put a bunch of copies of the same card in the sleeve. So as you can see here, like I have 3 skilled reigns just in a sleeve. I did this for a while, but then when I bought a massive amount of bulk that was just like picked through, a lot of copies of cards just didn't make its way through. So dust shoot's gonna be needed in quite a number. Same with oppression. And I just, you can see, I have a bunch of extras of like every card just to have. I'm trying to think what I might need. I'm definitely gonna need some dark bribes. I might need to order some more of those. Those are my last 3. Cool. Let's find some trap card to put in there for now. Oh, there's a dark bribe. So yeah, this is just more or less something I do just to stay organized. God, that's a lot of copies of bottomless trap hole. It just helps to be on top of that when you're like looking through your cards for a specific card. And that being said, I will actually tease the decks that I'm going to be slowly making as we go through here. These generic spells and traps kind of really don't need to be looked through as much right now. I mean, I probably need like rotas and like some stuff out, but deep down it's like I'm not building a deck tonight with you guys. I'm just sorting through this stuff for the time being. So yeah, I will definitely need to put more spells and traps in here. This box is like kind of half, which like the unsorted 3rd box probably should fit into here. Put that aside for now. And this is the monster box. This one is very full in comparison. And these cards right here aren't even sleeved, so it's like I need to get them into these boxes with the other ones just to have a little less disorganization. But at the same time, it's like there's just so many cards here, and like this is a fat stack of just Titanials. So this is just like an example of the madness that I do to try to get you guys like decks. Yeah, it's just a lot. I'm trying to see if there's a specific card in this stack that I need. Okay, there's some Cyber Valleys. Cool. Definitely need some Cyber Dragons. I can't find one card that I'm really trying to actually build a deck around, which is kind of frustrating. So you guys are on the ride for the hunt for this card. Okay, well, could have an odd number. Oh, there's a Vasky. This card's crazy. It's like $4 now thanks to Edison format, so it's kind of cool. It's only really good against the Dandy Warrior deck, so like it's nothing wild of a card. There's a Greffer. Not what we need right now. Okay. Not really much I need in this box today. So, the monster box, as you can see, is very full. We'll put that away for now. The box with sleeves that I have for building decks among all the spare cards. I need to go through the spare cards as much as I can right now. I ordered literally like, I think 48 Maliciouses or something just to like build the formats decks. Something like that. Yeah, like that whole stack right there is just Mally. Okay, so like not real cards are the Cybersteins and Spell Canceller. So all monsters, neat. Telekinetic Powerwell. I really want to build a deck with that card soon, but it's not really on my radar at the moment. Pulling the Rugs. Great side deck card for the format. Charge of the Light Brigade. Solid card, always. Air Force. My proxy Solemn Judgments. Just because, yeah. Kind of an expensive card now. The card I was actually looking for is Hydrogeddon. I'm actually shocked that it's more traps than monsters right now, or spells, because you don't really expect a lot of good trap cards in Edison format in comparison to like the spell cards. There's the other Hydrogeddons I ordered. Oh, I love this card, Tualatin. It's really strong against like the Blackwing and Vayu decks. Not so much the Vayu decks with Caius, but like the Blackwing decks when they just, if you're playing fairies, you can side deck this card and it just dominates that matchup. Considering like how popular the Blackwing deck has become in like the more recent E3 tournaments, it's just, this is a sleeper. I'll say it now. As a sleeper. It just sucks that it's like really only dominant in that matchup and like no other matchup. So it's just not worth the spot in the side. But I think that card's cool and deserves notoriety. Notoriety. I can't say that word right now. I'm sorry. There's a big stack of reprint Goyos, which I'm just not going to put in my extra deck. There's honestly the entire other deck that I was going to build and show you guys soon too, but that one's like not as like cool. I'll pull all the cards out I guess for it now because they're sitting right in front of me. Yep, that would be just Glad Beasts. Not a real original deck, but at the same time, I wanted a second copy of the deck. But those aren't as fun. Alright, so so these monsters can go in here for now. Oh, let's fill some traps. Alright, so the first deck I will be revealing that I'm making in a second. This one is definitely one of the more oddball decks that I've been working on since I got into that like habit of making the solidarity decks. I started like looking at more mono decks. And the first one that I will reveal to you guys is kind of a weird one that I'm like in the process of making, which is a Legendary Ocean, just like beatdown. Not so much like a solidarity deck because it's a lot of different types. But it will play Goes and Match, even though the rolling has changed on Goes and Match for Edison format, where if you have a type, you can tribute for another type. You just can't tribute for another type if you have 2 monsters on the board. So it makes Gozen and Rivalry kind of like less good, but I don't know. This was a cool idea that I was working on making. It's just I needed more copies of this card, and I just haven't ordered it because like this is like a lower tier deck that I was in the process of making. It's just, this is a cool one. I think as I go through the video and I show you guys more decks, I'll let you guys like vote on whatever deck you think is like the one I should make first or second or like however. So it's Legendary Ocean beatdown deck. Yeah, that one's kind of cool. There's just a lot of cards here everywhere. Goodness gracious. Oh, these trade-ins. Okay, whatever. So, of course, the first pen I get just doesn't work. So last week at Locals, I decided to like just bring all the Edison decks out from home and really take the time to organize them a little better. And I decided to start putting these sticky notes onto the boxes to say what the decks are. So this is like a more standard one. I think as I'm just sitting here relaxing, I think I'm just gonna like draw some test hands of each one. So these are the ones that you'll, more likely to see if you were just to play Edison format, or if like you were to sit down at an Edison tournament. None of the like weirder creations that like I'm known for, or like E3 makes or stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of good decks in here. 2 copies of like the Jeff Jones deck, the Billy Break Synchro Cat. You got Blackwings, Glad Beast, Lightsworn, Machina Gadget, Flamevell, the Fairy deck, which is not, a normal deck from back in the day, but it is really strong. Disaster Dragons. I put Hero Beat in here. It's not really as popular as like the Diva decks now, but I also had a lot of Diva decks, so I stuck them all together as much as I could. Frog Monarch, and then this is pure zombies. I just really like this deck because it's just really strong with just so much like small advantage gains with like the Pyramid Turtles, where you're like, your opponent probably won't attack them all that often, and it plays a lot of good cards. And I know a lot of like the zombie decks don't play creature swap now, but I love creature swap. I just think that card's so cool. And yeah, it's just Pyramid Turtle zombie control. I don't know. I think this deck's super cool. I just like it a lot. The Frog Monarch deck's really cool too. I'm not really trying to go for like the FTK or like the dupe lock as much, but like if that happens, like clearly you're gonna do it because you're gonna win the game with it a lot better. I really like Frog Monarch as a whole too because it's very passive and you can kind of just relax, but it's just very reliant on like one summon a turn, so it doesn't do a whole lot if that gets stopped, which is why a lot of the time when I build a Frog Monarch deck in like whatever format it is, I try to at least like incorporate Quick Draw to make Drill Warrior and pre-Effect Veiler, I should say. Now that like when Effect Veiler comes out, like it's just not as good, but that way like it gives the deck at least like a little bit extra to do. But I don't know. Frog Monarch's a cool deck, but you know, this is the first box of 5. There are 5 boxes of these decks. So as you can tell, plenty of stuff in there. I think before I get into this, I'll reveal the next deck or two, because there's a lot actually that I'm like slowly building. So this one's funny. It's really bad, but I just looked for as many monsters that say attack your opponent directly, and mostly that were dark, because Mystic Plasma Zone. I did put in Raging Flame Sprite, but yeah. The only reason why I haven't built this deck to showcase to you guys either is A, it's really bad, and B, I'm missing Jinzo Returner. I need to order some Jinzo Returners in due time, which he's also another card of another deck I'm making. So I just call this the Direct Attack deck. It's yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely like F tier, but at the same time, I just want to keep making more decks for fun. So, yeah. And with the Jinzo Returner, I'll actually like talk about the next. This could be one deck. This could be 2 different decks that I'm trying to think of. I don't know yet. But I have like Jinzo Returner and Cyber Eltanin. So I could either go like one of 2 ways, where you just play like Light and Dark Machines, and then you just play like Chaos Sorcerer. You'd play like the Koichis and a Salvo. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to go that route, or just build like the Jinzo Returner deck by itself with just like Mystic Tomatoes, Armageddonite and Greffer, and then just have just the Jinzo Returner deck by itself, and then you could make the Cyber Eltanin deck just a whole deck by its like on its own as well. So I'm not sure which one of these 2 I want to do just yet. I need to like theory craft it a little more. I think I might just go with the Jinzo Returner deck by itself, just because of it's all dark and just like sheer explosiveness that the deck can do. But I really do like the idea of like the Chaos Machines as well. So not entirely sure what I want to do there yet. I honestly do think like this deck could be kind of cool if it can pop off. So yeah, I'm gonna need to order some Jinzo Returners in due time. So I'm going to just put Jinzo as the card for this like stack. Jinzo Returner or Chaos Machines. I'm not exactly sure which one I want to do there. So that's the next deck. Next big box. A lot of the decks I like personally more in here than some of the first box. This box has a lot of cool ones in here. The first one I'm just grabbing now is Skull Servants. Honestly, this deck's really cool because it can just like kill out of nowhere with like a 6K King of the Skull Servant. Of course, you have slow hands like this where it's just like set Raikou pass, kind of boring, but it can pop off. It's definitely like a C tier deck. It's not really like that great, but like I think like the best thing about it is just like the Lady in White just protects your King of the Skull Servants from a lot, and her butt's really big. It's kind of hard to run over, and like Burial's cracked in this deck because you can like do it on attack declaration, make your kings bigger after like you've used this effect a couple of times, or if they like book a life you. Yeah, this deck's just cool. This is a deck I definitely want to work on. For one, I forgot that. Do I even play it in here? Oh Lord, I don't think I even play a single copy. Okay, Instant Fusion's at 3. I really want to go back and put that in here because that card's cracked. And that makes Stardust to make Stardust Assault mode all the easier. So I think I can go back and fix this deck to actually be like better. The deck's really cool. I mean, the build I made is not as like tournament ready because I'm playing like, what am I playing? That's like weird. Playing like Assault Teleport and Assault Revival and Mercenary. Like these cards aren't great at all. So like they could be cut just for like better cards in total. But I just liked the idea of Stardust Assault mode a whole lot. And like, yeah, adding instant fusions to this deck and cutting it down size-wise would be a good idea in total. I just drew like almost the same hand card for card. But yeah, this deck could be fixed up a bit. It's on my list to like look at doing. This deck is spooky. It's not very good, but the Tribute Stun deck, it's like you lose a lot of your own life points playing it, but like when you get it off, it's like super satisfying just to be like, oh boy, here we got it. Turn 1 Christia, set Solemn, go. Turn 2 we'll summon Prime Material and just win the game from here. Yeah, so that's this deck. I really enjoy this deck. I just know that like not a lot of people want to play against it. I think it's just super cool, but it does kind of beat itself. Like you get down in life points really quickly. I don't think I could really edit it much more than what it's already at. What do we got here? This is X Sabers. That deck's cool. Neospatians. This is a really fun deck. It's really fat. It's like 46 cards, which isn't like ideal for Edison format in any means necessary. But at the same time, I really like Convert Contact as a card. I think that card is just crazy. And honestly, Neospatian Air Hummingbird has been like an MVP card when I'm playing this deck. And Dark Simorgh is also a crazy card. Oh, there's a Convert Contact live turn 1. That's beautiful. I always send Glow Moss because Chaos Sorcerer can get live quicker. Unless you open Dark Simorgh and you want to like summon it, then like, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Gain some life points off our Hummingbird. That's like, I don't even know. We got Trag. Foolish. Oh, just beautiful. Not great, but like, this deck's super fun. I really like it. What else we got here? Oh, this is the Gear Town deck. This is the Creator Turbo. What is this one? This is Norlaros or Macro Monarch. Macro Monarch. Then you like Twilight and Norlaros. So kind of cool decks as you're going through. Next deck to show you guys is over here. This one is like really boring, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, the concept seems kind of cool, and it's just like a skill drain deck where it's just like Barbaros, Fusilier, Sirocco, Cyber Dragon, just like big beat monsters where you just kind of summon them and just poke. And then you play like trap cards like 1 to 2 deck Devies for Fusilier, because you can just set him and then deck Devi him right away. While that's not like the greatest thing in the meta, I think that's like pretty cool. And then like Sirocco is just good because it's the Blackwing matchup, how like popularized it is right now. So this would be like a really big stun deck. So like skill stun or like skill drain stun. I don't know. It's just another trap deck. Not as many mid-rangey decks in here as much. Like I can either go full combo or full like crazy. Or full control. Alright, this next box is a lot of like the weirder ones I've made, but not like super weird. Honestly, like one of like my favorite sleeper decks in here that's like on the verge of being okay, but not that great is the 6 Samurai deck. Because this deck can just pop the living crap off. Like, you can draw some hands where you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill you next turn. And you can draw it like this. This is just Gateway, United, Zanji, Grandmaster. I'd probably search first. Like an Iru or something, so your deck is being thinned. Draw 2 off United. Oh, we drew double summon, so like... yeah, we can just like set Reckless, set Judgment Pass, and then like they're not dead next turn, but excuse me. And this is one of the Solidarity decks I built that like I like a lot. Not a whole lot of like extra deck in here whatsoever, but I like this deck a lot. I think it's super strong. Oh, it's got a First Ed Super Rhoda in it. Didn't even realize that. Then sometimes you draw like, actually this hand's really nuts. And just summon a bunch of dudes and just bleh. Yeah, this is just a strong deck. I think that's just not looked at as much. What do we have here? That's the Donzalug deck. This is the Volcanic deck. This is the Eel Hero as the other Volcanic deck. Yeah, Solemn Judgment tells me what deck it is. That's good cards, dot stuff. Dark Samorc Harpies. That's the stun deck. Heavy Storm. Yep, that's the stun deck. That deck is very whatever. Gravekeepers. That deck's kind of cool too. The Dark Magician deck's a lot of fun. And then Mortronics. So, a lot of weird decks there again. Honestly, I really like building weird decks. Hence why the next deck I was looking at making is an alien deck, just like pure aliens, which by any means necessary is not good. But I found a bunch of alien cards while going through that bulk, and I really liked just a lot of the cards. Like the trap cards are just really cool. The synchro is kind of insane, honestly. It would probably either be a Solidarity deck or a Chaos deck because of like lights and darks. But like play some of the other ones as well. So Aliens is kind of a cool choice. Not great, but kind of cool. We got 2 more boxes, guys. 2 more boxes. And then we can stop hanging out. I know, this is different. Alright, this is one of the crazier boxes. Like all the decks in here, for the most part, are very, very combo-centric. This one's more of a mid-rangey deck. Is the Chaos Control deck. Honestly, I really like this deck. It's one of the harder decks to play that I've built, honestly. My friend Matt copied it and plays the crap out of it, and it's just... It reminds me of the Fairy deck, but also just plays good dark monsters like Doom Cow, Sangan, plays Dark Armed, of course. So, it's just a cool deck. I really enjoy all the Diva decks I have over here. Like, I think I have Diva Zombie, and Diva Dad. And like the 2 Diva Zombie decks are just a little different from each other. And the Diva Dad deck is cool because it plays like Diamond Dude, which I think is just a really cool card. And just it reminds me of just like a Teledad deck, which, oh my god, that hand is actually just nuts. Like Future Fusion, Plague Spreader, Miracle, Wing Blast. Like, okay. Cool deck. Awesome. Thanks for coming out. Then you draw a hand like this. Instant Fusion, Gores. Like, a lot of one-ofs. Not a lot of plays. So, this deck's cool. Honestly, probably one of my favorite decks in here. And I will forever stick by this deck. It is the Dark Gaia OTK. I probably could, like, work on it a bit more and make it, like, a little more concise. It doesn't need, like, slow cards like Morphing Jar. And, like, I think the worst card in here is probably the Future Fusion, because you can only do Elemental Hero Gaia, and you have to do Stratos with it. So, I should cut this card. I haven't just gotten to editing decks in a long time. But, yeah. And then, like, the Dark World cards themselves are kind of mid, not gonna lie. But, like, I wanted, like, at least something to put into the deck that, like, dealings could benefit off of, and, like... That was just the best, like, small minor engine I could think of, was just a couple of Dark World monsters. So I was like, as mid as they are, it's like, alright, you know, like, they're doing something at least. And, like, yeah, like, you play bricks like the Valkyrion. And, like, it's cool, like, some of the boss monsters are actually, like, summonable, like these two. And then, like, Lava Golem could just, like, clear out Stardust or, like, set Raikos and stuff. So, like, this deck's cool, honestly. It's just kind of hit or miss. This is, I think, my favorite deck in the box, though. That's just generic dot cards. Nope, that's Diva Flip. Cat Burn is just like Synchro Cat, but it plays burn cards. And, like, no one ever sees it coming. So it's like Death Koala is just so good sometimes. Because, like, sure, I can't beat over it without a Kalute. And they're just gonna, like, eat the damage when they swing into it. The only problem is, like, this deck does lose pretty bad to, like, just your opponent not attacking. Be honest with you about that, because it's like you have spies and such, and it's just you're basing a little bit on your opponent attacking, but that's like what the cat stuff does, is like allows you to just be aggro as well. And like Koala lets like the cat be at least a 6-star, not just a 5-star. So that's what's up. Yep, so that's that box, guys. I think we just have one box left, and then yeah. So another deck I wanted to build for a while, and E3 just kind of put it up recently, was like Chaos Reptiles. So like, he didn't play Alien Dog, but he played like all this stuff, and like Dark Creator and such. And I like his build. I'll probably change it up a little bit in comparison. I can't find my Anata Dragon or Evil Anatas. Those are the cards I really wanted to like put in here, just to like have it. But yeah, so different alien deck, or like reptile. I also wanted to build like reptile deck just for Anata, but like, I don't know. It was just like a cool one. And then, let's see, I think I have, this deck to do, which I'll just do it now. And I've been trying to build this deck for a while, and I'm really close. I'm just missing, I think, a couple of copies like him, and that's it. I'm not sure how many though. Just relinquished, so it's very, very similar to like, a lot of like the decks I've seen for this deck in the format, where it just plays like Manjus, Raikos, stuff like that, where like you're gonna benefit from prep, getting this engrave, and like, yeah. So, I think the relinquished deck is really cool. It's just like, not sure how viable it is. But at the same time, some of my other decks are not viable. So, yeah. What's this? That's the extra deck. Oh, what's the last box have in it? Box of Wonders. Oh god, these are the really bad / like very yes tier decks. Where is that one? It's closer to the end. I will say one deck that I want to edit really badly is this Dinosaur Deck. I have a lot of cards that I'm taking out of here. All of these. And I'm going to work on just getting the deck to be a little more control based and just beat down style versus like these cards. One of the viewers said they wanted to see a deck with this card in it, so I made this build. But that's why I got the Hydrogeddons out, is I wanted to work on this deck without these cards in it. I'm gonna have a day where I think I just sit and like edit my decks a little bit. And I'm not gonna bore you guys with that editing process of that. But yeah, that is the Dinosaur Deck that I need editing. And I told you guys that that'll be different, so that'll be cool. That'll have its another profile up when I just change the name of the other one. God, some of the most degenerate decks in here. I got the Countdown deck in here, and I got the Uriah deck in here. I really like the Uriah deck because it's super trolly, and you can just kill your opponent in a heartbeat. Okie dokie, artichoke. Step 5, go. Oh boy. Oh boy. I just love that I can play the alti copy of this card in it. It's very bad, but very funny. God, I could have a flippin' 40-something person tournament with all my decks. That would be fun to see which decks has the best record. Of course, all the decks wouldn't play against each other because, whatever. But as is. The insect deck's really cool. I actually really enjoy that deck. I don't think I feel like adding that trap card, Spider Layer or whatever it's called, just because that card, whatever. Put the Hydrogeddons in here for a reminder. And I think the Hyper Hammerheads I found are in here. Or were they from last night? Because last night I was also going through cards a bunch. No, they're right here. Hyper Hammerhead's making his way into the deck too. So then, yeah, I told you guys I'd be working on another Glad Beast deck just to have. This one would not be a cat build, so I expect like very few test tigers in there at all. It would be just more centric based on Glad Beasts. I don't know. Glad Beasts are just cool cards. And then there's one more deck I was working on making that was like super weird, but it's like super hard to get together. And that was like a Fusion Gate deck. I couldn't think of what to make with Fusion Gate except for like making it a Chaos deck with like Thunder Dragon, get 2 Thunder Dragons, make twin-headed, and then like Cyber Dragons and just stuff like that. That deck's still in the works on DB. Most of the time when I build a deck, I build it on DB before I look for the cards and start building it in person, except for the exception of like the Alien deck. Yeah, so the like Fusion Gate thing, I don't know. That deck seems like a far off dream for now because I got to like 20 something cards and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this deck, honestly. And then the last bit of the boxes I have here is the extra deck. This is organized by level for the most part. When cards fall over, it makes it a little hard. Okay. Cool. I probably could put this box together with the spare box, but I just have copies of cards for days in here. I have like infinite Black Rose Dragons, and I think the only card I am currently missing for the format that matters is the Golgar alien dude. Other than that, like I think I have everything that like matters and doesn't matter. I could probably use more copies of a couple of the cards, but yeah. That being said, guys, thanks for like watching and listening to me, hanging out. I'm gonna zoom in on all the decks that are options coming up, and I really want you guys to vote down below on the Dark Bribes are part of in there, on what you guys want to see coming up. And I probably will still be putting up decks that are modern format or standard format, so let me zoom in on this for you guys. So those are the decks that I will be making in due time. I want you guys to vote on them so I can make them. I think the deck closest to being done is the Relinquish deck. So, yep. All right, see you guys.